As we continue this weekend's half hour of our Talk to the Experts for Trusted Saskatoon, the website Trustedsaskatoon.com. And one of the businesses you'll find in the automotive category is Glenwood Auto, long-established Saskatoon business. And we're joined by Rob from Glenwood Auto to talk about some of the questions that people have submitted to him from Glenwood through the Trusted Saskatoon Facebook page. Good to see you, Rob.
Thanks, Brent.
You good to go?
I'm good to go.
All right. Trish is asking, I need a new windshield on my van. Should I go to an auto glass business, or does a place like Glenwood Auto do that kind of repair as well as other car care needs?
We do windshields. I don't know that all independent shops do windshields, but we do them at Glenwood as well as various glass shops around town.
That's good to know. Good to know. She has a follow-up question. I like this one too. Do all cars or vans have cabin air filters? Because I think for a lot of people, they don't even realize they've got a cabin air filter until you go to some place and they say, "Oh, you should get your air filter replaced in your cabin."
Yeah, not all cars have them. Some cars, for whatever reason, they come with a slot for the cabin air filter, and sometimes that slot comes right from the factory, empty without a filter in it. I would say over half the cars now, or maybe 80% of the cars, have cabin air filters.
What are they, like a HEPA filter kind of thing?
Yeah, they're kind of like an air filter you might see in your engine. Very similar.
And how often would they probably have to be replaced?
It depends. I mean, I think the manufacturer is recommending you replace them every 6 months. But I mean, if you do nothing but city and highway driving and there's not a lot of dust, you may get 2 years out of a cabin air filter. If you're on gravel roads each and every day, you're going to be doing your cabin air filter every 6 months for sure.
Got a great specific question here to a particular car from Lindsay. She says, Rob, if I need to replace a rear main seal in a 98 Neon automatic, is it best to also replace the transmission seal because it's already out, or is this that mechanic's way of making some extra money?
I'll be honest with you, the other way around. If we're removing a transmission from an engine, we always recommend replacing the rear main engine seal. If that seal ever leaks, you've got to pull that transmission again, and you've got to spend all that labor down the road. The seal usually runs anywhere from $30 to $60, and you're going to be looking at an extra 10 minutes to 20 minutes labor to put it in.
Might as well then, huh?
Yeah, and if you have a transmission out, it's not a bad idea to put the seals in. You're going to be looking at the cost of the seals plus a very minimal bit of labor. They're very easy to do when the transmission's out. It's cheaper for you in the long run if you do it while the transmission's out, I would say.
Rob is joining us from Glenwood Auto, one of our automotive experts that are part of our Trusted Saskatoon Expert Show this weekend. Darren Fisher's got a question. Says, when you take your vehicle in for repair, you usually get an estimate. Does that estimate just come from a mechanic's years of experience, or do they have some kind of a manual telling them how long it takes to repair that particular issue?
No, we have a labor guide. There's so many different makes and models out there today. There's no way off the top of our heads we can tell you what the labor is if you were to phone in and ask. We always refer to our labor guide, and there's various different labor guides out there, different companies that have them. They're all very similar in the amount of times given for each particular job, but we always refer to the labor guide when building the labor into a quote for a job.
Eldon wants to know how often you need to change oil on new vehicles. We're hearing all kinds of different angles on that today. Is it the old 5,000 kilometers? Is it a couple times a year?
When the oil life monitors first came out, I think probably 7 or 8 years ago, the oil life monitor would let you get about 15,000 kilometers out of an oil change. We're seeing evidence now, and this is through courses my techs have been going to, that the engines are sludging up when people are following those engine life monitors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm still recommending if you're using generic mineral-based oil to go 5,000 kilometers, and if you're using synthetic to go 8,000. I think going 15,000 kilometers is too long. Over the life of that engine, once it's a little older, you're going to see some sludge problems.
Hey, our friend Levi from Kitchens Etc. wrote in. He says, are all brands of unleaded gasoline pretty much the same, or is there some out there that you'll get better mileage, better performance, or keep your engine running cleaner? That's a good question, but I would think that's probably all the same, isn't it?
If your car or your boat, there's certain boats and certain cars that they're going to tell you right when you buy it that you should be using premium gasoline. Mm-hmm. If they're telling you to use premium, use premium. Usually I don't think it'll cause a problem as far as performance, but you might notice a pinging or various small symptoms. But in most vehicles, 98% of vehicles are going to take just regular unleaded. If your car requires, if you have a high-end vehicle, maybe like a Corvette or a Porsche, and it's telling you to use premium, definitely use premium gasoline.
Holly wants to know, why do my brakes still squeal after repairs?
There's a number of reasons that can happen. Either maybe the calipers weren't serviced properly. Whenever doing a brake job, I am recommending you either replace or resurface the rotors. With the cost of rotors nowadays, I think it's better off just to replace them to get a brand new rotor. It's about the same cost as resurfacing. And a lot of times, ceramic brake pads will squeal a lot less than semi-metallic by going to a ceramic brake pad.
Okay, one final question for you from Ann. This is good. A lot of people can relate to this. Car's in an accident, the insurance doesn't cover the entire repair. Do you guys have some kind of a payment plan option for me at Glenwood?
Unfortunately, we don't. We take all major credit cards and whatnot, but no, we do not have a payment plan as of right now.
Some good stuff there, Rob. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Rob joining us, one of our special automotive guests on this weekend's edition of Trusted Saskatoon's automotive-themed experts. And from there, heading over to that west side of Circle Drive to Auto Clearing. We've got Shane in right now from Auto Clearing. He's the manager of their used car area at Auto Clearing on Circle Drive. Good to see you, Shane.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks.
And we have some questions from Trusted Saskatoon people who have gone on the Trusted Saskatoon Facebook page. And these are questions directed straight at you. You good to go?
Absolutely.
All right, here's your first question. Bruce writes, my daughter wants to buy a used Volkswagen Beetle. He says, how much would a person need for a good, reliable bug? And basically, I think he's saying, what's a decent price for a used first car?
Well, I mean, it seems like the standard now of used cars for kids and that sort of thing has always been in that $5,000 to $7,000 price range.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to fill that order, but if you're willing to look hard, and you can always track something down, I guess.
Anne's got a question here for you. She says, Shane, do you think it's better to just buy a used car, since by the time you pay off a new one, there's already so much more that's bigger and better out there?
Well, there's always going to be bigger and better. It's if you want to stay ahead of the game, I guess you can trade every year. But the used ones, you've got you can beat the depreciation. There's still lots of good stuff out there, so. It's all a personal preference thing in that department.
Okay, we're really going to put you on the spot on this one because two of these questions are very similar. They're both from women, Bella and Glenna, and the theme is very similar. And both of them are wondering, why is it they feel that auto dealers in their mind treat women like, as I quote Bella here, like we don't know anything about cars, when in fact stats show women buy more cars than men. That's got to be more of a old school thinking, isn't it?
I think that's a pretty old stereotype of salespeople. I mean, nowadays we've got men and women doing the same thing on the sales floor day to day. So I think it's changed a lot in the last.
Well, and if I was a woman and I was at a car dealership and I was getting that kind of treatment, I'd take my business elsewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Simple as that. Shane is the manager of Auto Clearing's used car section, and also you'll find them in the automotive section of Trusted Saskatoon. He's one of our guests joining us this weekend. And again, if you've got questions you would like to put to coming guests, go to the Trusted Saskatoon Facebook page. A couple more questions here that we've got. Daryl says, with interest rates so low, would you suggest buying a cheaper new car or truck rather than a top-of-range used vehicle? That's a good question, especially in your area where you deal with used. That must be something you're seeing a lot nowadays, because the prices on new and these interest rates these days are really the time for a lot of people to be buying new, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see it all the time. There's lots of comparison to new and used, and there are some great incentives and interest rates on new vehicles. But at the end of the day, it's what you want to buy. And if you want to buy a high-end used one or a entry-level new one, I mean, that's up to you and your budget.
And there's always a market out there, because everybody that's buying a new one is usually trading in one, and that's the vehicle that most often ends up on your lot. That there's always people in different stages of life where they're going to need a car, and if they don't want to go that new way, then that's where they come and see you at Auto Clearing on the used side. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. New car business brings good used business. So
some good stuff. And if you've got any more you'd like to find out about getting a used vehicle from Shane up at Auto Clearing, just give them a call or head up to their service location up on Circle Drive West. Thanks for joining us today, Shane.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Shane's the manager of the used car area up at Auto Clearing. And to put the wrap on our program this weekend, Sarah Wheelwright, the owner of Trusted Saskatoon, we've got a nice little prize pack we're going to give away.
We do
today.
Indeed.
We have that $50 gift certificate to OK Tire, the oil change from Glenwood Auto, and from Shane and the crew at Auto Clearing, this is a $100 gift certificate towards vehicle repairs, service, or body work. And we have simply selected one person who submitted a question, and that was Darren Fisher, who had put in a question that we had asked to Rob over at Glenwood Auto. So Darren, thanks for your question, and you've got the prize pack here today. Any hints as to what our next program may be themed on here, Sarah, or am I putting you on the spot?
Yes, the next theme is going to be personal finances. So we're going to have everybody financial in here. So if you want to find out how to manage your money, if you've got any, then get onto the Facebook page, ask the questions, and see if you are one of our lucky winners. So congratulations, Darren.
You bet. And thanks to everybody who submitted questions. Again, Trustedsaskatoon.com. Submit your questions through the Trusted Saskatoon Facebook page as well. And that does it for this half hour of our experts on News Talk Radio.